Samuel measured the height and radius of a cylinder container to the nearest tenth of a meter. The measurements are given. The height is 5.1 meters. The radius of the base is 1.8 meters. What could be the measure in cubic meters Samuel uses for the volume of the container? All right, so if you have your EOC reference sheet, you can see here that the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. So that's the area of a circle times h, your third dimension, which gives you volume. So we're going to use volume equals pi r squared h. All right, so we know that we have to the nearest tenth of a meter, 5.1 meters, 1.8 meters, and what could be the measure in cubic meters. That means it's using the same unit for each of these, which is nice, so we don't have to worry about converting units. So we're going to have pi. And if we use the numbers given, we have 1.8 squared times 5.1. All right, so let's do 1.8 squared times 5.1. And hit enter. And that's going to give us about 16.524. All right, so if we look at the answers here, we can see that B is the closest. It says what could be the measurement. If you think about these numbers here, these numbers have been rounded to the nearest tenth, which means there is a range of answers that it could possibly be. So if we look at that, we know that 5.1, remember if it's a number, if it's less than 5, you round down, and if it's a number greater than 5, you round up. So 5.1 could have been anything between 5.0 and 5.14. So this 5.1 here could have been any one of these range, because if it's 0.05, that would have rounded up to 5.1, and same with 0.06, etc. And then if this is 0.13, 0.14, etc., that would have rounded down to 5.1. So that's the range here if we had rounded. And the next one, 1.8 meters, that could have been a range of 1.75 to 1.84. Again, if it's 1.75 or above, it would have rounded to 1.8. And if it's 1.84 or below, it would have rounded down to 1.8. So that range will give us maybe a more accurate picture of where this number came from. So let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, so I'm going to use my two lowest numbers here first to get a picture. So if we do volume equals pi, and this time we use 1.75 for the radius. And again, the standard that this goes along with is accuracy in measurement. So when it comes to rounding, that's what it kind of plays a part in this. All right, so let's see what that is now. So let's pull this up, and now we're going to do 1.75 squared times 5.05. Hit enter. 15.47 if you round it, so 15.47. Now if you look at the answers again, by taking the two numbers from the bottom end of the rounding, you get B. So that shows that that one is the best example. Now we could do the two higher ends as well, and it's probably going to be a little bit higher than this, probably around 17 or so. But the fact that these were rounded and it says what could be the measurement, even though when we first plug these numbers in, we could guess that this is it, but if you use the lower ends and the higher ends of where the rounding came from, that may give you a more accurate picture.